So I love working from home, but I do work on a laptop currently, and that makes it a little difficult to work because as you can see, when I'm working on the laptop like this, I do have to have my head kind of tilted down like this, looking at it. And after hours and hours of doing that, that's no fun. So I'm upgrading my set. And what I'm gonna do to upgrade it is install this monitor back here. Let's get it open, plug it into the MacBook Pro, see if everything works nice. In the box, we've got a quick setup guide, components to set up the mount, a 2-piece power assembly here, and the end of that will plug into a 2-pronged outlet. And the adapter is 25 watts or 14 volts. We also get an HDMI cable with 2 HDMI cords on the end of it, and that looks to be about a 4-foot cable. And then we get the panel right here. There's currently a film on it that we're gonna pull off, but first let's get it set up on my desk. So let's start off by assembling the mount. We're just gonna take this piece right down here, and we're going to place it into this base piece right here so that these 2 legs are pointing out and this is pointing out in the same direction like that. Now we can just come to the bottom right here and we're going to lift this piece right here. You can see that lifts up, and then we're just going to twist that to the right, and that's automatically going to screw that in there for you. And you can see this gap right here closing as I'm tightening that. It's getting closer and closer. You can see that closing up, and it's almost fully tight now. And there you go, that gap is closed up. No room left in there anymore. And so now our mount should be looking a bit like this. And now I'm gonna take my monitor and I'm gonna have it turned upside down and backwards so that I can see this piece right here, because that is where this mount is going to drop in there. So first, I'm going to come a bit at an angle at it like this so I can drop in the top of it like that. And then I'm going to push in the back like that. So now it's kind of locked into place. Let me show you how to do that just one more time with a little bit different light so you can see that again. So I'm bringing it in like this, putting this piece down and in, and then locking backwards like that. And for the next step, underneath this base, you'll see a hole right here, right here. We're gonna screw those in because you should get 2 little screws like this attached to that mount in a little plastic bag. And I'm just gonna start these by hand at first, just a little bit. And then I'm just gonna take my hand-powered screwdriver here and tighten those up nice and softly. Okay, now I'm gonna test this mount by just pulling up on it like there, and you can see it's holding it just fine, no problem. Okay, so now we can take that, pick it up, and we're gonna move that over to my desk over here. We're gonna set that down on the desk, and we'll see how that looks right now. That looks much better. Let's get that plugged in. There's a power button on the back of it right here. Let's press that. A moment of truth. Let's see what happens. Open up my MacBook. Does it connect automatically? Oh, it sure does. Look at that. I didn't even have to do anything and it's already connecting. Okay, now here's a look at the screen with the lights off, and you can see that it does go into a kind of a setup mode here. Gives us the current resolution at 1920 by 1080 at 75 Hertz, along with an optimal resolution. We can go through and change those, it looks like. Okay, so the one setting I had to come into to make sure that it works as an actual display for my MacBook Pro here was I had to come into the settings and I had to go to displays. And then I had to come up here and I had to click on this right here. And then I had to make it into what it said at the time here. Let me open up my MacBook and it should show another display here. You see that? And it pops up another display like that. So I have to click on this one and then I go use as mirror for built-in display. And that is what gets this to work properly. I can even close my MacBook Pro using in clamshell mode, and then I can still use this screen up here to do my work. Now, if you just leave it how it is, it has a little bit of a forward tilt like this. However, you can push it back like that and it'll tilt. So you can see it does have a fair amount of tilt in every direction, which is really nice because I'm a little bit taller, so I need it to tilt up. I mean, as you can probably see, if I'm sitting here and I'm trying to work and I'm looking at it like this, it's much easier than if it's tilted down like this, and it just gives me a weird angle. So I tilt it up just about like that, so it's tilted right at my face, and that works perfectly for me. Now I do want to make a few changes here, like up the brightness on it. So what I do is I go to behind the panel at the same place where that power button was at, and I can click it while it's on, and you'll see that a little window pops up right down here. And that little window has all kinds of settings on it, including eye saver mode, a menu, and you can even power off. Let's go to the menu. We can change the picture, and I can go into the brightness, and I'm going to turn that up. I want that up as high as I can because I like a lot of brightness on my screens. So much better at 100% brightness than 50%. I'm gonna go to the contrast. I'm gonna leave that alone. Same thing with sharpness. I might actually turn up the sharpness a little bit. You can change the colors. You can go into a game mode. You can change the response time of the screen as well as the screen ratio as well. It does have FreeSync technology. You can put an eco-saving mode. I don't want that because it changes the brightness too much. And there's even self-diagnosis where you can reset everything if you need to. And so really this is the only application that I really care about if it works on this or not, and that's because this is Davinci Resolve, where I edit my videos for my YouTube channels and things like that. And so when I come in here, it works just fine. It scrolls just fine. There's no change in between what I'm seeing on this screen down here and what I'm seeing on this screen right here. I can close it and I can work on it like this too, and it still continues to work. But what I like is just that the color looks really accurate. It looks nice and clear, and it really blows up the size of my workspace. So instead of a small little workspace like this, now I have the large screen. This is exactly what I wanted. Really happy that I got it. Oh, and now let's do the thing that we never did, where you pull off this thing right here. So it says to pull it off from like the bottom first. So I'm gonna peel along the bottom, and then we pull up like this. Oh yes. Looks like there's another smaller one here too on this little strip down here. Yes. And there you go. Now it's everything I need.